So, Mortal Kombat 2 has been delayed randomly. Not overly sure why. Bit of an odd one. Because, they'd begun their marketing. They've delayed it till next year. Like, genuinely, it is a bit odd. Maybe it's because they want to put it at prime time. I don't know. But Karl Urban and the director have responded. Well, the producer, sorry. So, I thought we'd cover it because I think this is interesting. Normally when a movie is delayed, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's disastrous. What's going on here? But they have kind of moved it to prime time, I think. So, as this article says, after the recent announcement that Mortal Kombat 2 has been pushed from October 24th, 2025 to May 15th, 2026, fans voiced mixed reactions online, but the cast and crew are speaking up to keep the hype alive. Now, I will say, May isn't like super, super prime time, but I think it's better than October. I think it's better than October. I think if I was Warner Brothers, because this is a Warner Brothers film, isn't it? Or New Line or whatever. It's a subsidiary of Warner Brothers, effectively. If I was that company, would I want this movie to be released during, like, horror season, or would I want it to release in like spring? Yeah, I'm gonna want to release it in spring, kind of the start of summer. That would make sense. But then they're stupid for not thinking that, pre-planning that, and having already begun their marketing, right? Like, that's dumb. Also, side note, and we will get to the comments, obviously, at the rest of this article, but the other thing which occurred to me, and I replied to Sean Chandler on Twitter, is that, got to remember, the first film was released during COVID times. And so they may have, and this is now being released in theatres, they may have much more concern over this than previously. Because the previous film, it did well. Like, it was received really well. But those circumstances are very different to now, the theatres being open. I would argue, actually, I think this film's going to do quite well anyway. Just because I think people want to watch something that's fun and isn't going to lecture them and, put them down and make them feel like shit. So I think this film will actually do really well. But I think Warner Brothers, in anticipation of this, I just think they're playing it a bit too easy. I think they're a bit scared. That's what I'm reading into it anyway. So just another side note. I think that's potentially why. But so it says this, fans aren't only unhappy with the 7-month delay, but now Mortal Kombat 2 will face Disney and Lucasfilm's big Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is set to be released a week later on May 22nd, 2026. And that is confusing, but I also don't think that will affect it that much. Because I think that they are different. And I think that they will, I think people are checked out from Mando anyway. And as this article says, you could make the argument that Mortal Kombat has zero competition with the October release date. Maybe that is the case. Sure. Maybe. But it's a horror month, isn't it, at the end of the day? This isn't really a horror movie. And Karl Urban's come out and said it's a summer movie. And that May, sort of like end of spring, beginning of summer. And it does make sense, right? So on Instagram, Karl Urban has acknowledged fans' frustration, which is great for him to actually acknowledge it. Like, good on him. Most people just chuck their head in the sand and go, no, I'm not addressing any of this. So good on him. So he said, Mortal Kombat 2 is now a summer movie. I guess this is what happens when your Red Band trailer smashes records with 107 million views in 24 hours. The Mortal Kombat 2 cast will be at New York Comic Con, October 9th to 12th. If you're a little bummed at the delay, apologies, but you might want to be in that room, just saying. So it sounds like they're going to release a new trailer, or even maybe announce that they're going to go back and do some reshoots, and like, as in to add stuff, not change stuff. Maybe, who knows, right? And so Urban's tease strongly suggests that new footage or announcements will hit at New York Comic Con. So that's good. The fact that he addressed this, this is a good tweet or Instagram post. This is good. This is nice. This is actual engagement. This is actually engaging with the fans, giving them what they, addressing their concerns. This is great. And Todd Garner is the producer. So he was on X and responded directly to fan complaints. So he said, the movie is done. This is about fan reaction. So basically, when a fan called May a great release date, Garner replied, so he said May is a great release date. Garner replied, agree with every word of this post. Responding to the backlash over the delay due to competition with films like Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, Garner said Mortal Kombat is a summer franchise. And addressing the idea that the film needs more time to be perfected, Garner clarified, movie is done. This is all about how massive the fan reaction was and how great the movie tested, which that is true. This movie has been testing. I know this, other reviewers know this. It's long been known. This has been testing recently, and it's been testing really positively. So on whether October was a missed opportunity, he said, quote, would it do well in October when Halloween... one asked, basically, says, is the next weekend and not May when it's summer? One fan vented about the 5-year gap between the first and second film. Says, absolutely unacceptable. Garner agreed. I agree. Hopefully, after this one, we never have that big of a gap again between movies. So it looks like they're planning more, like much more. So when asked if delaying because of high trailer views made sense, he said there will be more. That's great, I think. Deadline says Warner Brothers thinks Mortal Kombat will perform better in summer, like as a quick summer window. I actually don't think they've got anything to worry about with respect to Disney and The Mandalorian and Grogu. As this article notes, right? Like Star Wars is actually on the back foot here. Star Wars has more to prove than Mortal Kombat, right? Like Star Wars has produced nothing but garbage, whereas Mortal Kombat made one movie that was relatively fairly highly well received and people enjoyed it, and they're coming back with a second one which everyone liked the trailer for. So, Star Wars is actually on the back foot here. So there you go. I mean, what else do you say? It is an interesting turn of events. I think this is both good and bad. I think it's really dumb, to be fair, that they were like, trailer did really well. Let's just delay it. Like, that is going to annoy people. So you run the risk of moving something in a direction for it to be, to perform better because of the fan response, because of the reaction to the trailer. You risk doing damage to that rather than the potential damage of releasing it in October, I guess. But it swings and roundabouts because it could be highly successful. It could be a great thing that they did this. That is quite literally a wait and see moment. We do not know. So there you go. I don't have much else to say. I thought this was interesting. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.